guys. Good morning. Let's go ahead and do a read really quick. So, before we begin, in case anybody's like, where the fuck are you at? I'm actually in my great grandma's, or my grandma, visited my grandma's camper before she passed away. And her name was Grandma Pearl, and she was married to Grandpa Smitty, who was he was a second husband to her. And I'm pretty sure it was my mom's, like, one of her few people in the world she's ever lived. So, I think that's looked right there for you guys. This camper came to us when I was like around 4th grade or so. And I remember the day that my grandma passed away. I didn't know her very well, but I remember my mom in that moment trying to take over the house and take over the camper, and as an only child just figure out what to do with everything, because a lot of it wasn't really organized legally. My mom handled everything the best that she could, and we ended up with this. But this camper has been gifted to all of us children at some different point, and even though it's like kind of not okay to be an Indian giver and take presents back and then give them to somebody else, that's what happened. And so in a way it was like messed up but special all at once. My sister Kinsey was the first one to get this camper, and she was a very beautiful person. She passed away when I turned 18, or sorry, when she turned 18. And when she was in here, we would actually sit at this very spot, to be honest. I came down here many times, and my sister would be sitting at this place, which there's usually a table here. My baby brother has removed the table. He thinks it looks better without it. Whatever works for everybody. But Kinsey would always be here writing something in her journal or reading a book. She was always doing something with a book. And it wouldn't matter what day we came down to make complaints. She would always listen so sweetly and kindly. And she, I just don't even remember her ever honestly doing anything rude once, not even once. After she died, we found out, everything basically that she didn't say. And she just ended up leaving, my life at such a young age, being such a huge inspiration and role model to me. And I knew that when she passed away when she was 18 and I was 14, it didn't take me long before I realized that the reason why she was gone was because she was already that freaking amazing. And no, her life wasn't perfect, and she didn't live the dream, that she imagined probably many other people in the world do. But Kinsey was in herself. She was a good person, and she treated other people like they were good people too. Sometimes I wonder if that's what it's really all about at the end of the day, is getting to be like Kinsey. Somebody who can just read books and, be fine in a messy bun, and be okay also if somebody wanted to do your hair and makeup in a way that made you feel beautiful. She was an either or girl, and Most of the time she was just a simple girl. She passed on when she was 18. I was 14. So I shortly after got this camper, and in this camper I was with my son's dad, Tori, and I ended up, actually my water broke in here, and he was 3 weeks early, my son, and I didn't know exactly what was going on. I considered even maybe I peed my pants, and after a couple of times of changing or so, I knew my water broke, and Skylar was born. And this camper actually has a lot of memories when it comes to that chapter of my life. And in fact, this little cupboard over here, I had all my globes in them, my Christmas globes from my sister, and that part of my life. I was really big into globes and those water globes, and I put them in that shelf. I was probably about 16 or so. Put all of them in that shelf, even my sister's, the ones that, honored her death, or even some that maybe we'd gotten together different times while we were all together and still alive. It was a devastating moment for me, but I put them in there, and the winter weather actually froze all of the globes, and cracked them and shattered them, blew them up. I remember coming back in and seeing all of that in there, and I was devastated, dude. Devastated. I paid $300 a month to live in this camper, even before I turned 18. I worked at McDonald's at the time. I had to open the store, so we had to be there at like 4:30 or something in the morning, maybe 4. But that's where I met my daughter's dad. James was opening at McDonald's, and it was not planned. But, life is interesting, and everything happens for a reason. You know what? Even more interesting, my son's stepmother is the one that got me the job at McDonald's, where I met my daughter's dad and left my son's dad. So fate can work in many ways, you guys. You just gotta be able to look back, and even if it's the globes, getting frozen and exploding in the shelf over there, right when I even mentioned that, I thought about how I'd finally released materialistic items, and for that reason right there, is like, it's freaking devastating when something breaks or something is lost or stolen that we really, really love. And when we allow things in our life to mean so much, we not only overlook how important it is to take care of that thing that is worth so much to you, but is ultimately fragile as hell. Fragile as hell. If I had been better educated or aware of what I was really doing with that water and glass inside of that globe, which makes complete sense, I would have never put the globes in a situation to get frozen outside. During that time, it was actually a pretty rough time for us. Pretty sure we were possibly buying a new trailer. And we went from a single wide trailer to a double wide used trailer. So for us, that was the only new house that we've ever gotten. They're still living in it. And that's where I think everything got left in here. I had to go to the new trailer's location, and we stayed there until we moved it up and over to this spot over here. And it was just a really messy time for all of us in our life. But regardless, this camper has never moved, and never went camping. But I guess, to be technical, a lot of us have had our time in here, and the only one I'm not so sure has is my sister Tasha, but Colton has it now. I had it then. Kinsey had it before. So even if at the end of the day we all had to share the same present, I think it's pretty freaking cool that My little brother's actually, he cleaned the whole thing out, and it had boxes up to the ceiling since I moved out. They told me that the camper was cleaned out and that I could use it if I wanted when I came down here, and I said, it's fine, I'll figure something out, but um, I don't know. I came out here just to see what my brother was doing last night, and I'll be damned. It's literally actually cleaned the fuck out. That's crazy. Where the fuck did they put the shit? But at least, honestly, it gives everybody somewhere to go, and people need that. Some people need a place to go. They don't want to be in the room full of other people. So if that's you, then don't be afraid, to mention it. And if it's not you, you need to allow other people to have their space, because I feel like more people would hang out a lot longer if they weren't being honestly bothered by the other people in the environment. And it doesn't matter how great people get along. Once you kind of start getting used to having yourself to answer to, and you're the only one who's really offering suggestions or thoughts on any matter, to be around anybody else actually is very stimulating. And it's not that, it has nothing to do with people being better or worse than anybody. For somebody who struggles with thinking that people think they're better than you, or that they think that you're worse than them, or blah 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 blah, like, that's just an issue that you're going to have to overcome within yourself. Even if that other person does really think that about you, why does it matter to you so much? Why? Every one of us at the end of every single day is going to be able to just determine whether or not we have a positive attitude or a negative attitude. Last night I wanted to drive home a lot. I didn't. I woke up this morning and my brother was not here. I thought for sure he was in the house getting coffee or something. Would be right back. But no, he totally dipped out. But before he did, we spent several hours just chatting it up and talking about a lot of different things. And me and my little brother have always been, honestly, best friends. Probably more close than, I'm not gonna, probably closer than all my siblings, to be honest. Colton and I became best friends in my teens and his youth. And I let him move in with me years ago, back in 2006, 7, and 8. And we developed a very strong understanding and bond that we have very, very, very twin-like minds. He's a Pisces and I am a Cancer, and my sister, she's a Scorpio, my mom's a Leo. So me and my brother, I think, we're just kind of more the goofy ones, and the ones that who knows where the fuck we are all night long, but we were right over here in the yard in the camper. But we weren't just in the camper, we were literally doing all this other crazy shit that we couldn't do around anybody else in our family. We both agreed last night that we can't literally stand to be around people in the crowded setting. I told him that I'm not trying to be rude, it's just that I just don't care for that kind of shit. I'm not into the whole everybody's talking to each other, communication, chatty stuff. I've never really been into that, and I know a lot of it probably comes from having been told what to do. I'm more of an order taker or giver. If you don't sit down and have good, meaningful and deep and patient and understanding type of conversations, at a young age, which I do see happen with my clients and their kids. I see clients and kids having these very great conversations. Nobody's interrupting each other, waiting for the other one to listen. They're maintaining eye contact. They're letting the other person know through head gestures, that, hey, yeah, I'm totally following along. They pause before saying anything just to be even sure that they're not going to interrupt. So it's double whammy, perfect, no interruption. I can't even not interrupt ever. Like, you could be choking and I'd still probably tell you to be quiet before I realized that you needed help. So some of us have a lot of work to do, and some of us have work to do in other areas, but not so much where other people do. And that's just how it is. So some people, you know, they they hide it better. Some people express it and feel better, but some people, they keep expressing it and they not only feel like worse, but they make everybody else feel like worse. So just figure out where you are at all times in life, and no matter what the circumstance is like you're being put in a situation to grow and to understand it from another level, another point of view. And if you can do that, you've expanded yourself. And when we do that, we know that there is another person out there in the future, or even very close to us, who is going to utilize the skill we just learned, and we are going to apply these skills to people at a younger age than us. People that we're going, that we're going to take, basically, we can't take anything back. We can't change the past. We can't do anything like that. We can't, go back and win those court cases that we all dread losing. The charges that we got that prevented us from our dream jobs, and blah, blah, blah. We all learned it later. We were told to younger, hey, don't do this. Don't get charges. Don't ruin your credit. Don't get felonies. It's going to really screw you later on in your career, Getting an apartment, being able to make any investments. Like, if you screw yourself now, you're going to really be hurting later type thing. And we hear them, but it's more like when you got to know what kind of audience you're talking to, I feel like a lot too. Some people are into the why can't I, and some people are into what can't I, why, what, when, how, and where. So where are you? I'm definitely a why. I want to know why I can't do things, because I like to hear their actual reason. Some people sound like the reason for why you have to do things a certain way is because if you really are listening to it, it's really all about that person. They try to talk to you in a way where it makes it sound like they need to go this route, but your heart's telling you, hey, what? Like, if they have to interrupt your dream and your pace and be like, hey, over here though, look at there, did you see that yellow one over here? Didn't you see the yellow dress over here? And you're like, what? You're like, yeah, that's cool. And they're like, no, hey, get over here right now. You're not even listening to me. Come over here. No. You don't need, if you weren't literally asking about it in the first place, or you weren't needing a recommendation for change, then we're not changing. We're not stopping to go check it out. We're not doing any of that, because you'll miss your flight. You need to think of yourself as heading to the airport at all times during this chapter. And basically, from here on out in life, just know that every person that says things to you that are strange or off your own kilter, like, that's just a test. It's nothing. You don't need to see it as that's who they are. That's a test. That's an opportunity for you to test your boundaries with respect. Just say, hey, that's a really great idea. I really appreciate it, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and just keep sticking it out, with what I got going on over here, though. And if they want to know why, well, then show them the same respect that you just expected them to have towards you. And just be honest and say, yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm doing this for me, this chapter like this, because I've trialed and errored it other ways in the past, and you don't even have to say exactly how. Just say, I've been working on some stuff, and basically been trying a few different steps here and there, and seeing how it goes. And you can say things like, this step's opportunity right now to trial and error. You can say, this is what I know is best based off of my past decisions. You can say whatever you want. You can just say, well, but do be in mind that if you're like, well, that's what I fucking said, then you're gonna get that kind of energy back. So you might want to think of a reason ahead of time so that you already have it ready to go. I even sound like an idiot saying it, but you know, I'd probably say because that's what I fucking want to do, or because that's what the fuck I'm gonna do. Or, you know, it's not really true. The truth is that I've sat down and I still sit down every day, every time. Anytime somebody wants to sit down and go over things, I do. And most of the time, honestly, I take very little from the meeting and proceed on, maybe even, um, maybe even a little bit more well planned out, or s- with stricter goals and more serious deadlines. Sometimes the more people talk about things, the more they express about tons and tons of different weaknesses, and by the time they're even like 2 seconds into the conversation, you already know most of the time that this person needs much more help than you alone can give this person. And we need to release those people. We need to definitely, yes, it might take a little bit of extra time, you know, for you to listen to somebody express the state that they're in, but that extra 30 seconds to a minute to an hour can make or break your whole future, meaning you're not putting energy into a false dream, a false goal. And when you're exiting from your past and you're starting a brand new future, of course you're going to have the same dreams and the same goals kind of lingering within you. So it's very important that you guys actually understand that those old dreams that you used to have, they're being actually released now, and you're going you were somewhat correct when you thought you wanted to do those things as a dream, but you're going to basically take all of the skills that you learned in that area and you will now apply it to this upcoming next big you that you're becoming. And it's probably similar to me. I thought I wanted to be a lawyer and a counselor, and now I get to be a teacher and a coach and a life coach, and I get to teach you everything. Um, and I don't have to actually have you guys pay $1 for it. I can teach for free without liability, and I actually like that a lot more. I love that I can be out here on social media and not in an office and not have to have you guys sign a contract or pay me anything. So it worked out for me. I could still defend you guys and still teach you guys and still be there for you guys, and see you guys grow and develop and do what's right and give you guys that choice and not by force. And it's just, it's so much more amazing, and I can help so many more people when I don't sit there and restrict myself on one small matter, one small person, one small step back. You know, I'm not going to do that anymore. I understand now that every time I made any type of mistake, I can figure out how I can grow into a literally better person now. Whether I remember to do something different before I get to that part. Maybe there was something during the part that could have been different. That's why the mistake happened. And after the mistake, we can always look at how do we handle that? How do we treat people? And could we improve in any way in that area? Accountability. Being proactive, not putting too much on our plate at one time and expecting us to be able to complete this unrealistic set of goals. Looking at priorities and seeing what are your priorities, comparing them to anybody else around you that you spend a lot of time with. Everyone has a big list of things to do, so nobody should really have a whole lot of time to be messing around. And if you're around a bunch of people that got a lot of free time, you're not moving forward in the direction that you need to. You need to be around people that can barely hang out and at work most of the time, because you're in that mode right now and you're heading towards a major career breakthrough. So there's no reason why you're actually kicking back and relaxing and taking it all slow and easy. And no. So let's pick up the pace. Pay attention to people around you who are setting goals and working their fucking ass off. Because for the dreams that you have and for that longing, that calling inside of your soul, your heart that you've been wanting so damn bad, it's going to require a lot of attention and a lot of work. It's been neglected, and if you choose to actually just be all focused out here on all this other stuff any longer, this little part of you is just going to freaking fade away, because opportunities only have a certain amount of space that they can actually be prosperous. Opportunities, they get their gateway of time. And then time changes, and now you're a brand new person, you have different age. Maybe the director to the person, maybe you were wanting to be in a movie, and the director dies literally in May out of nowhere. And now it's a new director. He doesn't know shit about you. You just wasted 3.5 years trying to prepare to come be in front of this past director. And you finally, 3.5, 4 years later, get the balls to do it. And then they pass. And now you don't mean shit to the next person. And you're going to say, well, I worked so fucking hard for this. This is crazy. I can't even believe I worked so fucking hard just for that person to pass away. No, you wasted 3.5, 4 years before you acted on your dream, babe. Just, that's what we gotta be looking at, okay? No more Wall Street Journal market crash shit. No more everybody, the government screwed me over. No more my baby mama exes screwed me over. No more nothing. The minute you hear somebody blaming another person for anything, I would say respectfully move forward with your life. If you want to keep dealing with people like that, then you're not going to elevate with the other people that are going forward, but you are always welcome to stay behind and help out anybody that you like. That's always appreciated. But do know that in order for their life to feel better temporarily, you are actually giving up your whole future to do that in this time. If you know anyone is wasting your time and they've wasted it ever before, and you choose to do another one, then you better have a good strategy and you better be prepared, because if you lose, it's literally on you. And until you can actually just take responsibility for choosing to be involved in things instead of blaming everybody that you are involved for things, then you will be more punished probably than they are, because you went through the same thing they did. You show no empathy, and then you blame them for everything, and you're very cold-hearted. You playing a victim. So, nip it in the butt, and definitely try some meditation and some yoga, because negative people are just very, 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 very contagious, and it's very disgusting to be around, look at, or feel anywhere near you. So if you do that kind of stuff, it doesn't scare people, it doesn't make people want to listen, it makes people not want to be around you, and it makes them have a memory of the way your face looked and the energy in the room every time you were there. And that's, you might feel like, oh, I'm mad, I have a reason to be mad, but people don't want to hear about it anymore. If you've said it once, you're done. So don't be repeating anything anymore. Period. Let it go. And you have to forgive, you have to say sorry, and you have to be accountable. So even if you don't think you did anything wrong to your partner that you guys broke up with, that's crazy that you would even think that. Everybody does shit wrong. Quit fucking literally making the other person feel like poop when it's a two-way thing. Quit letting them make you feel like it poop if it's a two-way thing. Just, stand up where it's due and sit the fuck down when you need to. Okay? Know your role.